Hello, this is Richard Anthony Marca, and this is for the first project. Here is my machine. It's not plugged in right now to the computer, but as you can see, we have the time in the 12-hour format. This is for Riverside, so excuse my voice if it sounds weird. I have a cold, so it's going to sound weird. But if I click on the left-hand side, it should change to Celsius. So it's 11 Celsius. The time's the same. It is late. But let's just say I want to change the place. So it's hard to see on this view, but yeah, there you go. There's actually triangles pointing up and down, which I could hold down to go down, hold up to put the number up. So let's change this to, since it's President's Day today, let's change it to the Capitol. Switch my hands. All right, 0. Let's go up for this one. If I hold it, it makes it go faster. And there we go. Now if I go back, there we go. Now it updates to Washington. If I press this, it changes to Celsius, and it should be very cold there. Now I'm going to go and change it to a place that's a little closer, Chino. I don't know why I did it that way, but yeah, reverse it that way. Then 917 8. No, that's 10. I should have left that there. This one's 8. So if I go back, I have to wait for it to refresh. But once it does that, it's now China. And it stays on Celsius. So if I click this again, now it's in Fahrenheit. And now I will show you the code. And here's the code for this project. I separated, and here are all the imports. It's basically the same as what we had. The variables, which is the Open API. This is my Wi-Fi network and my password. So if you ever go to my house, now you know, and you can connect. The timer delay is at 5,000 because that's the one we set up. I also added these big comments to know which functional requirement it applies to. So this is for the time. This is for the changing of Fahrenheit and Celsius. So temp now for Fahrenheit, temp now for Celsius. For the buttons, the initial zip code. These are the buttons that are up, down for the 5 little boxes. The 2 temperature states, the format time for 12 hours because we don't need 24 hours. It's more convenient this way. Our Wi-Fi setup. And it is nice that the program remembered its last zip code when it edited. So I was able to change that. That checks off one of the to-dos. If you go here, this is for when the buttons are pressed. So this is if mode Fahrenheit, if it's pressed in the bottom left. If it is pressed, if the mode is Fahrenheit, it changes to Celsius, or else it changes back to Fahrenheit if it's not Fahrenheit already. And then it displays it. And these are the buttons for the zip codes, changing it for, these are for the increases. If increases up, then changes it from all the way up to 9. then goes back to zero, loops back down to 0. And these are for the down. And these are the triangles that is hard to see on the camera because of the reflection and light. But this is the top triangle and these are the bottom. So in person, it's much easier to see. This is to check if the buttons are pressed. And this is for the time. So changing the time from 24 hours to 12 hours. Checking if the Wi-Fi is still connected. And here's a little method to change the format from 24 to 12. Changing 0 and 2, 3 and 5. So AM if hour is 0 or 12, or PM if hour is between 12 and 24. If hour is greater than 12, it changes it to PM. And instead of hour 0, it's hour 12 because midnight, 12 a.m. is technically 0000. Here's for the new zips, the zip codes. Here's so I remember which one is DC and Chino. But the main one is Riverside. Instead of the schools, I used one at my house, which is close enough. It's still Riverside. This is to make sure I get it from my app ID from Open Weather. The JSON capacity stuff for make sure it gets it and uses it properly from here. You know, up top. And here, this had the in the top right where it had the temperature minimum, maximum, and the current. And on the bottom left, it has the city name. Within the top right, it has the time. Here's a little fun thing. During the daytime, it's actually going to be a lot lighter. So it would have a white background, but since it's nighttime, it's going to be very dark. The weather icon, so it's clear tonight, so that's why it's a circle because there's nothing. But if it was raining today, it would have a cloud. Or if it was sunny, it would have the sun. But it's not, unfortunately. And this is more stuff for changing the temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius and back. URL. Weather images for whenever it demands it. But usually in California, it tends to be clear. And I have right here, this is more like for the images and the pixels. If the pixel is black, I just have it not draw anything. Otherwise, draw it. And that is it. That is the entirety of this code. Some of the stuff was items from the template, like the imports and the open weather. Except obviously I'm using my own API key and network name. But yes, that is the end of Project 1, and thank you for watching.